great honor to introduce our new County Executive, the Honorable Rob Astorino.
Thank you. Good morning. Let me start with a couple of important acknowledgments. First of all, I do want to thank your chairman, Al Del Bullo, and his recent advice that he gave me. He really was an important part of my transition as I was sitting down and wondering what I got myself into. I also want to thank, of course, Bill Mooney, who has been such a strong and positive voice on the important public policy issues facing Westchester. And I do want to thank all the members of the Westchester County Association who showed up today. The work you do as an organization is critically important to Westchester, and I thank you. Now, my remarks this morning will focus on three things: assessing, addressing, and acting on Westchester's competitiveness. David Ricardo is probably familiar to just about everybody in this room, or maybe not, but I'll tell you who he was. He was a 19th century businessman, politician, and economist, best known as the father of comparative advantage. In the simplest terms, Ricardo espoused that economic prosperity was a function of people's ability to understand what they did well or better than anyone else, acknowledge what they didn't do well, and make sure they concentrated their efforts on the former rather than the latter. Now, let's look at Westchester's advantages and disadvantages. Clearly, we are a very highly desirable place to live and to work. The pluses include a workforce that is highly educated and motivated, an excellent location where a stone's throw away from the capital of the world, New York City, great quality of life that is energized by terrific schools, communities, and natural beauty, roads, mass transit, and communications that are better than most. I was on 287 today and every day. I know how bad it could be, but we are much better, in essence, than many of the other surrounding areas, such as New Jersey, Connecticut, and certainly New York City. So our infrastructure is competitive. On the negative side, we are an expensive, too expensive place to live and work. The minuses included taxes that are the highest in the country, government regulation that is both too onerous and uncertain, housing, energy, and a general cost of living that's well above the U.S. average. Add the pluses and minuses together, and the next question is, what's the public's perception of Westchester? Well, right now, truth be told, it's not a pretty picture. The public thinks we're going in the wrong direction and wants change. Businesses, large and small, as well as families holding economic summits around their own kitchen tables, see Westchester as constantly getting more expensive. So how do we address the situation before us and maximize Westchester's advantages and minimize its disadvantages? Well, it starts by letting the business community know what it can expect from the county. My pledge is to govern according to three guiding principles, and you heard them before. Number one, competence. Anything deemed worth doing by the county needs to be done right. I define right as the best work at the best prices, delivered with the highest ethical standards. Now, the heavy lifting has already begun. I've asked all of my commissioners on reports for how they will plan to significantly cut their departments. Those reports are due back to me next week. When they arrive, we will review them in both tactical and strategic terms. Tactically, how do we take out some costs right away? Strategically, how do we start to reshape our cost structure? Where are the opportunities for consolidating and sharing services, first within county government, and then more broadly, within other areas of local government, like our schools, towns, and cities? A little good news. We met with the ratings agencies just a few days ago. We presented our approach to how we plan to operate. They liked what they heard, and they reaffirmed our AAA ratings. And moreover, the market reacted extremely positively. We were able to refund $94.5 million with an interest rate of 2.45%. That is the lowest rate the county has received since 1955 and produces an immediate savings of $4.2 million for Westchester's taxpayers. That's what competence looks like. One message I will deliver loud and clear is to tell businesses that they can count on me to be a very strong advocate for our shared services, causes, and concerns, here locally in Westchester, and up in Albany, and down in DC. Number 3 is communication. I really and truly welcome your ideas, suggestions, and yes, your criticisms. Partnership requires open, candid, constructive dialogue. We need to listen to each other, really listen, and not give each other lip service. That means listening to things we don't always want to hear, as well as the things that we do. That's what you can expect from me and my team. In return, the county expects the same in kind from you. On competence, it goes without saying that we expect you to give your customers the best service you can provide at the best price. But I would ask one more thing, and it's something this group has already taken a leadership role on. I would ask you to continue to generously devote your time, energy, and expertise in finding solutions to the issues before us. Our challenges are complicated, they're thorny, and they're difficult. Halfway measures won't solve them. You represent the best and the brightest minds anywhere. For our partnership to succeed, we all need to bring our A game. Our communities certainly are, and other ones are, in LA. I don't know if you read about this, very interesting. They just hired a top investment banker, Austin Buettner, to be its first chief economy officer at a salary of $1 a year. Got that, Larry? Connecticut also has outside business people to help staff its employment offices. So in other words, put people in the offices who are actually the customers for hiring. It's a neat concept. The broad point is that when talent and creativity are mixed, good things can happen. And that leads to collaboration. Collaboration is all about sharing. The Westchester County Association is critical because it brings different views to the table. Construction, marketing, energy, consumer goods, real estate, you're all here. But there's another membership group as well, higher education, which incidentally is the second largest employer in Westchester. Now, we need to engage our schools, teachers, and students, because when they're at the table, they help to ensure that we're tapping the full spectrum of intellectual capital available to us. Bringing in the schools also helps us keep thinking young. I mentioned David Ricardo before. Here's someone that's a little more contemporary. Mark Zuckerberg. You know the story. He was born in White Plains, raised in Dobbs Ferry, attended Ardsley High School, went to Harvard, only to drop out and become the co-founder of Facebook. But what if Zuckerberg returned home to Westchester instead of going to Palo Alto to build his company? Maybe the next Mark Zuckerberg will return home if he or she is nurtured, motivated, and energized by living and working in Westchester. There are big challenges ahead. But I am confident we can handle them whatever comes our way, and we will handle them together. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity today.
Well, for the new year, I want to make sure that the river towns, as well as all the towns and villages in Westchester County, are able to prosper. That is, for businesses on Main Street, all the little shops, people who put a lot of their own investment and capital, that they prosper. The big corporations that are in our towns, that they keep Westchester as their home. That's a big part of what we're trying to do, is to make sure that the jobs are there, that they're growing, that we stabilize or eventually lower taxes in Westchester County. That's an important part of my message, an important part of my administration, and to make people feel good about Westchester again.
Kevin Plunkett, Deputy County Executive. Today's speech by our County Executive was right on the message of economic development, the need to cut costs in government, and the need to consider consolidation in government. And that message delivered to the business people that were in this community and at this breakfast, I think is going to send a good message as we go forward to try to make a difference in Westchester County. So I'm so privileged to work with the new county executive as his deputy. Our team is ready to go, and we know that economic development is one of the most important things we have to focus on. So we will move forward.